Ebonyi Independent Electoral Commission on Sunday declared that the All Progressive Congress, the winner of Saturday's local council elections in the state, Jesse Eze, chairman of the commission, announced in Abakaliki that the party secured all 13 chairmanship seats and 171 ward councillor positions. Eze noted that 3 political parties, APC, APGA, and LP, participated in the elections. He confirmed that the commission has ratified and adopted the chairmanship results for the local government areas as announced by the various councils, returning officers, along with the councillorship results announced at the electoral wards. Okay, let's stop there and let's head deep into the discussion for today, sir. Ebonyi State.
Yes.
Prior to this time, Dave Umahi has been doing some underground work. The governor, Nwifuru, also promised us that Ayim Payosayim will be coming over. And in his coming over, in his decamping from the PDP to the APC, he didn't just go alone. He went with a committee, or should I call it a community. It was a high-powered defection. Is the APC now in charge of a southeastern state, the second southeastern state in their kitty, or is just a fluke?
So it's what is, and good afternoon, listeners. It's what is has become characteristics of the kind of politics that we play here in Nigeria. Politics that is essentially about winner taking it all. We are yet to, but for Kaduna State under Nasir El-Rufai, we are yet to see, and there are reasons we can explain, we can give for that, right? Okay. We are yet to see a state lose elections, local government elections particularly, to an opposition party.
Okay.
It is never going to happen, and this is for the last couple of days. We heard the current chairman of APC in Rivers State spoke very highly about how that as a sitting chief of staff in government house, they wrote results for local government. He said it on. If Nigeria was a serious state, as a matter of fact, he would have been picked because that's a crime, and there is no tenor to prosecuting, criminal offences.
Exactly.
If he said by his own, with his own mouth, that indeed they wrote results, and everything they said, everything that they wrote was what became, and that the chairman of CX, in the case that he was talking about, RISEC, will just come, pick the result, and go and announce it. If Nigeria was a serious state, both that chairman of RISEC, his agent, and Chief Tony Okocha, the leader, or if you may, the chairman, even though he's still under contention, the chairman of APC should have been picked up, and all of them arrested and tried because he confessed to it openly. This is the reality across Nigeria, wherein the state governors, their agents, will just write the results of So I am not one who is surprised by what you have just said. There is no local government election that we hold in this country, and the sitting political party, the governor's party, will not win it in total. Come to Delta State, you will see it. Go to the different states, you will say they are not even going to allow you to take 2 or 3 councillors, because they write these results somewhere. And this is the catastrophe in the Nigerian political system that we do not understand yet. How we do not allow people to willfully choose by themselves, for themselves, who they want to lead them. It is the system. It is the corruption that throws up political leaders. It's a system, the corruption within the system that always throws up political leaders. Whether the corruption within the police force, the corruption within the CIEC or INEC, the corruption within the judiciary, the corruption within the different systems that you have in Nigeria, all of them collude to ensure that the wishes of the Nigerian people never come to see the daylight.
Sorry, sir. Just to cut in, because I heard you call about INEC and the CX.
Yes.
Okay, we are having a bill at the National Assembly
Yes.
for an agency to be able to conduct local government elections.
That's the most moronic.
Wow.
That's the most upsetting, the most annoying thing that they are trying to do.
Let me get your view.
How do you, in trying to fix a challenge, create agencies? Are you saying that the people who will be in those agencies will not be Nigerians who belong to the political parties? Go and see why you have INEC or CIEC challenged. The reason is because the people who populate these agencies often are members of the ruling party. And once they are members of the ruling party, the natural tendency is to have soft spot for the ruling party. So when the ruling party is sitting and they form this agency, say let's call it election agency, you think the ruling party will be watching that people who will populate that agency will be people who will come from the opposition political party? If you do not fix the causative, if you do not fix what is necessitating the ailment medically, if you are tempted at just addressing the symptom, that will be tokenistic, because the disease condition will keep blossoming, the disease condition will keep spreading. All you needed to do as a very sound medical doctor, as a clinician, was to look at the symptoms, look at the pattern, and address the causative. Why do you have fever? Why do you have the reason there is fever is because there is malaria. If I addressed malaria, I would have addressed fever. But if you try to give analgesics, you try to give certain things to address the fever, and you addressed the fever without addressing, the malaria, without addressing the plasmodium that is in the blood of the patient, what happens is that will be short-lived. In a short while, you will find that the patient patient temperature will keep soaring again. What we attempt to do with setting up this agency is akin to addressing the symptoms. Why is INEC not working? Why is CIEC not working? These are the fundamental questions you should ask first. What can we do? What can we engineer into the system to ensure that it works? What can we do to prevent all of these malpractices as we have been told by politicians? One of them just said it recently, Tony Okocha just told us of what happened under his time. How that as a chief of staff, they wrote results in government house. Why are you going to create an agency for instance? This agency is not going to be sponsored by the monies from budgets that will be passed by both the executive and the legislature, who in any case, the head of the legislature must be the member, or must be a member of the ruling party. The head of the executive, a member of the ruling party. They are going to establish an agency wherein they will populate it also with their members, and they are going to control everything that happens there. So it is exactly what we have been doing in Nigeria. Since I was young, now I'm older, they will say the department in the police that is responsible for traffic control, that department is no longer functioning. So in Lagos, they will not create a LASMA. In Rivers State, they will create a Riwama, whatever it is that they are creating. They keep creating different agencies. They will not find that those ones are not working. Then they will not go and create a road safety organization. Find a road safety organization, they are no longer, they will go and create another one.
Tax force.
The one they call a tax force. They find that the tax force is not working. They go and they keep creating agencies without addressing the issue. And this is what we see across the length and breadth of Nigeria. In all the different ministries, department, agencies, you find that they are replicating roles, they are replicating responsibilities, assuming that until that is done, you cannot have functionality. Not understanding that the reason you have functionality is to make the system efficient, block all of the challenges that will prevent people that are in those units and those departments from doing the work that they are supposed to do. Nigeria, we keep, running and rolling, like we say in Delta State, on Baba chair, until we are ready to sit down and say to ourselves that the causative, the etiology of all of the challenges that we have must be tackled first.
Okay, being that we have gone into diagnosis.
Yes.
Let me get your opinion on what the diagnosis may be to get to the causative. The causative, should I call it the causative factor?
Yes.
In the local government elections that could, because if we get the elections in the local government right,
Yeah.
we have started at least at a pace. That's a journey of 1,000 miles, starting with a good step.
Yes. Yes. So
Let me get your diagnosis.
So for me, it's simple. What's ailing the system is corruption, and corruption can be seen from different prisms. So there is corruption when you are perverting a system, when a people are supposed to vote, but because you understand that if they voted, they were going to get certain candidates that will not favor the ruling party, and you understand that if you did the bidding of the person who heads the executive, who is in the ruling party, they are going to build a house for you as a chairman. They are going to set up one company for you as a chairman, and you will never be poor again. What happens? You take to it. What is the diagnosis is that corruption is seated within INEC, within SIEC, within all of our electoral bodies.
Is poverty part of
and
that?
Some of the reasons you have that kind of corruption is because the system permits it. I have said severally, and I said in your studio last time I was there.
Yeah.
I said corruption in Nigeria is what sustains Nigeria.
Whoa.
If you took away corruption from Nigeria, Nigeria would die. Nigeria is able to live, to continue to exist because of corruption. And let me break it down.
Okay.
So a member of the House of Assembly, let's say a senator, who comes home, his people hears that, Senator Andy Akpotive is home. You know what they will do? They will all gather around in his house. In the morning, as he wakes up on a Saturday morning when he's home, he will start opening doors for people. This one will come and say, my wife is pregnant, so I need you to please help me, so that my wife is nearing delivery now. If we don't have money, my wife may die. He reaches into his pocket, gives that one 100,000 or 200,000. Somebody comes and say, my son is in school, if we don't pay the school fees now, he reaches there, he gives that person money. And this one comes again, my mother has been very ill, he reaches, he gives that person money. What you are invariably empowering him to do is to go back to the Senate and say to them that my constituency allowance must increase, and see how he's going to pad budget, because he understands that he must meet certain responsibilities at home. If he did not do those things, the people will say that he's not a good senator. So what sustains the entire country, whether you looked at the police, you looked at the executive, the legislature, what sustains it? Look at the judiciary, for instance. You found that it is the executive that is responsible for their promotion. It's the executive that is responsible for their secondment, for their transfers, for all of those things. If the judiciary understands that until I am favoring the sitting governor, I'm favoring, in my judgment, I'm favoring the sitting governor. If I do not favor them, they are not going to promote me as quickly as I want to be promoted. That judge would be doing their bidding, because he understands that.
Yeah. Because
as soon as he does their bidding, they would ensure that he is in a court that is a good court, a juicy court. You know, there are such things. You do not understand. There are juicy courts. They will not send you to a chair if you are in River State, or they will not send you into one very thick village. If they found that you are a judge who is not pliable, who is not dancing to their tune, this judge, what do we do to this judge now? We are going to send this judge to a thick bush, a thick forest. So they will do the transfer, request the chief judge to transfer this person to that thick forest. And because of all of these things contained within the Nigerian state, you find that corruption is what sustains it. Until you take out corruption from the system. And how do you take out corruption from the system?
Oh, good. I was coming to that.
So these are some of the panacea, some of the prescriptions that we have put forward. If you wanted to take out corruption, and the typical example I would give, if you come to my office, if you got into my office, and you found that there were no CCTV in my office, and I just carelessly dropped monies on my table, dropped my phone, and there were 4 or 5 people. One is a kleptomaniac, or one is a thief, or one is one who is taken to stealing and pilfering. If there were no CCTV and I did not announce it, they can pick that thing and go. Yeah. But if I had CCTV in my office, and I got people to come to my office and I put those things there, they would understand that there is CCTV in the office, and because there is CCTV in the office, they will be circumspect in how they steal it. That's the first level. The first level is to initiate controls into the system, controls that will prevent people from stealing.
Okay.
And all of these controls can be, can be technical controls. They are controls that you are fixing into the system that the people understand, like the CCTV, that
yes.
if they did certain things, they were going to be seen. Then the second level of the control is that after you have seen them and you want to take them to court, who are the judges that are going to try these people? You must now get judges together and make them understand that, see, these kinds of cases, this is how you are going to prosecute it. Read the Riot Act to the Chief Judge of our country or the Chief Justice of our country regarding how you want. See what is happening in Rivers State, for instance. A case regarding whether Martin and Maywele people are the true representatives. It's been lingering almost forever.
Yeah.
This lawyer will come and say, I'm the one that is representing PDP. The other will say, no, you are not. You cannot be representing PDP. I'm the one who is representing. Then the judge will say, two of you should go and settle yourself. Until you have settled yourself, we are not going to carry on with this case. Because they understand that this is a political case that if they drag for this long, their bank accounts are going to be getting fatter as long as they are dragging. And these are the realities. So you want to be sure that you were. So I asked somebody recently. I'm sorry that I'm moving around like this. I said all of the malpractices that you have seen with election. How many people since we started doing election in this country have you heard were tried, were convicted, sent to jail for electoral malpractice?
Whoa.
How many? I am challenging all the journalists to go and search from 1999 till date. All the people who exchange monies, the ones who carried ballot boxes ran away, the ones who were giving monies on the queue, all the cases that we saw, all the cases, including the one that the lady who was in charge of INEC the other time saw by herself, and she requested her aides to go and arrest the person. Who do you know till this moment that has been tried and has been fined or sentenced? No one. And because you do not have anyone who has been tried and has been sentenced, and I'm going to be, very wonderfully surprised to find anybody who has been tried and jailed. Until you are able to get people who have committed certain crimes, who have committed certain offenses in our Nigerian state, and were taken to court by the state, were tried and jailed, you would never see a cessation of all these kind of things that you see. So, first off, we engineer the system so that we prevent these kinds of corruption within. How can you even engineer the system? The governor or the president must not be the one to nominate the chairman of INEC or the chairman of SIEC.
Good.
In the case that we have in Rivers State, you found that the governor just sits down and scans through his brain and says, who is going to be loyal? I want to send it to this community. These community people, they have not been relevant, in governance for the last 30 years. So I'm thinking, this is just for example, I'm thinking I want to send to the Odagwa people in Rivers State. So, Chief of Staff, Secretary, go and find one Odagwa professor who is going to be pliable, who has been speaking well about us. Find him and let me know his name. Then they go to town. Odagwa, Professor Abere, Odagwa, and they carry 3 names, they give to the. Then he looks at them, then he calls them, look at me, listen, I want to make you the chairman of SIEC. And you know how these things happen. If you go there and you do whatever you see is what you are going to take. And I'm going to announce your name tomorrow. He announces the name. What do you think? He that pays the piper dictates the tune. As soon as the Professor Abare, and there's no such professor so Professor Abare gets in there, all he's concerned about is how to deliver all of the askings of the governor. So the governor says to him, you are from Eche, right? I want everybody from Eche, first off, to be delivered to PDP. He says, yes, sir. Equal local government, everybody there deliver. He says, yes, sir. But sir, how do we bring all the things to my chief of staff? Bring it to him. He's going to write it and we'll give it to you to announce. Are you afraid of announcing? How can I be afraid of announcing? He brings it. They change the right result and they give it to him. The first thing is to stop that from happening. The second thing is to see how you will re-engineer their funding away from the state or away from the executive. Re-engineer it into a board that will comprise the different heads of the different political parties in Nigeria. So, for instance, A board that will sit and appropriate monies to INEC must have the chairman of APC being present in the board, must have the chairman of PDP present in the board, must have the chairman of Labour Party present in the board. It is that board that will look at the entirety of what should go to INEC for the conduct of any election and say, okay, we have looked at everything, they have submitted their budget, we think that INEC should actually be given 2 billion naira. That board is responsible, and there is first line charge in how government budgets that money, and that money must come to them. In any case, I have even said that INEC of a necessity and CEC do not need all of these monies that we budget for them. Anytime we are going to have election, we have budgeted for them monies that they are going to use for logistics. Logistics speaks to money that they will give to police, they will give to police and their dogs, they will give to so many nonsense things that if you only just did the election properly, that people can be in their houses and vote, or people can go to a certain center that is accredited, that is known, and vote in that center. Vote just by printing like you do with your ATM. If I have 10,000 in my ATM card, for instance, and I went to Rumola to withdraw 5,000, if I took that card and I go to Rumokoro to withdraw another 10,000, it would tell me that I already withdraw 5,000 and I cannot withdraw 10,000. Yes. Why can't we have such a system so that once you put printed, all we are doing today in our country is that we are having agencies that, you know, they are just collecting data from people. You have a safety organization collecting data. You have CBN collecting data. You have a NDIC collecting data. You have, and all of this data, we are not saying what they are doing with it. Exactly. Why don't you anastomose all this data so that people can just go thumb print using certain machine that would have been accredited and placed in certain places. Even if you don't want people to do it in their houses, put it in certain places that you just walked there and you just thumb printed and you walked away, you will see the different, and it will count immediately and default into this the server. This is how we are going to curb all of these corruptions that we see even embedded in the system.